Hey you! Hi! Thanks for stopping by. I'm Liv, and if you don't know, I'm an amputee, been an amputee for over 20 years from trauma, and I use this channel to talk about that and all that sort of stuff. I'm super excited for this video because yesterday I test drove a Tesla Model Y. The way in which being an amputee plays into this is that I am a right leg amputee, so I drive cross-legged. That's a weird experience in any car, especially something as fancy and modern as a Tesla. For reference, my current car is a 98 RAV4. So this was a huge change. If videos like this sound interesting to you, I do hope that you will stick around and subscribe. It's free, it helps me out so much. And once you've watched this video, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Or a thumbs down if you didn't, and I'll make some different content. But for now, we're gonna jump back into the past. You're gonna come with me on my test drive, and then we'll meet back later for some final thoughts. We're on our way to test drive the Tesla Model Y. Why? Because we're thinking about getting the Ford Mustang Mach-E, which is coming out at the end of the year or the start of next year, right?
Correct.
So we figure this is a good opportunity. They're doing contactless, so that's going to be interesting. I'm quite nervous because I have not actually driven a car more than like 2 blocks in about 5 months. So that's kind of weird. And then now I'm gonna drive a, how much is this car worth?
About 50 to 60.
Yeah, and it's about to rain, so that's gonna be fun. I'm nervous, and I kind of always get nervous when I'm about to drive a new car because I drive cross-legged, and that comes with a whole set of inherent things that make it nervous-y. Yeah. So I'm excited to see how this is, if it's easier, if it's harder. I don't think that driving cross-legged is something that designers necessarily take into consideration because that's just not necessarily how you're expected to drive a car. Anyways, let's see how this goes. So the car that I currently drive is a RAV4, a 98 RAV4. So there are no bells and whistles to this thing. It has a tape deck. I'm lucky that it has automatic windows and automatic unlock and lock. There's nothing special about it, but that's the thing is like I'm more concerned with the comfort of how it drives, the comfort of how I sit because I like sitting upright. I find that much easier if I sit cross-legged. So this is going to be really interesting, trying out such a fancy car with so many bells and whistles that may not necessarily appeal to me. I'm really intrigued. We're a little late. Well, we're actually like 3 minutes early for when we're supposed to be there, but then they say to come 15 minutes early, so we are late. But we'll see how that goes. Maybe they're not that particular, or maybe they will be upset with us and make us go home. I don't know. We'll see.
Thank you for calling Tesla. Please press 9 if you know your party's extension. Please hold while I transfer your call to a representative.
Tesla Cherry Creek, this Orion.
Hi, this is Patrick Anderson. I had a 1 p.m. test drive scheduled, and I'm out by the Tesla that are charging.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'll have Corey meet you guys out there.
All right, sounds great. Thanks.
Waiting for our guy to come meet us, Corey, the Tesla guy. We're standing in front of the Teslas, and we were just talking about how weird it is just being in a mall, even.
Yeah.
Like, there are people shopping and stuff.
We haven't been out much.
Not at all. There's our guy. We'll go now. He's just driving through the parking lot to get out of here, and it's really disconcerting.
I'm going to take the mask off.
Okay. It's really disconcerting how quiet this car is. It's really quiet.
Yes.
Yes. Disconcerting. Oh.
I didn't ask how we get out of the parking lot.
Oh my gosh.
It's a paid parking
We don't
lot.
have a ticket. How do we get out?
I think we just pushed a button and...
Theoretically, if we're in a test Tesla, we'd get out. Yeah. Help?
We're doing a Tesla test drive. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you. They just opened it straight away. That's
I was like,
oh no, we're locked in. What do we do? Oh my gosh.
I said I wasn't going to do that. I said I wasn't going to laugh, but it's hard not to.
Yeah. It's hard not to react too, because like we watched some YouTube videos before doing this, and it was like, okay, we're not going to be those people who get in and are like, whoa, wow. So I'm not being over dramatic. That is my nature. Okay, we're on our way to find a quiet spot, and we're in standard mode now, which I think is like, it's standard, right?
No, it's in sport mode.
It is in sport mode? Okay.
I think, I'll check. I think it's sport, acceleration, standard, steering.
Okay, that's what I saw. So yeah, it's very notable. Like, I'm trying not to be dramatic about it, but there've been a couple times where it's like, ooh, sort of engage hyperdrive, and he's just accelerating after a traffic light, like nothing big kind of thing. So when I drive, we're gonna put it in chill mode because I don't need that get up and go. It doesn't make me comfortable. I don't like it. Thank you. I mean, if you're sitting in a traffic light and the person next to you is like, no, and they're trying to do a drag race, right? That's what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would win. You would definitely win. I don't think there's any question because you're just tapping it, right?
I haven't found the floor yet, so I've been going maybe quarter to half.
Granted, we're on like residential chill streets. We're not going on the highway. That's weird looking.
So we're sitting at an intersection, so you can see the cars going by on both sides, and then now it's my turn. So it's still very easy to control the acceleration to feel normal.
Jesus.
Holy crap.
Was that pedal to the metal?
Yeah, finally.
Did you?
Yeah.
We have a little bit of straight road. I mean, like, okay, hold a minute. There's roller coasters. Okay, so there's this place called Lakeside in Colorado. Jeez. And it's really old school, and there's this one roller coaster that's super rickety, and like you could just you're barely hooked in. You truly are. So the feeling when you go over a bump in that roller coaster, like you might not be in your seat when you come back down. Like that's the same feeling that I just got when he pedaled to the metal in that little bit of straight road. Right? I'd say that's accurate.
Yeah,
wouldn't
it's
you?
pretty.
Like I might have lifted out of my chair, but not necessarily nice. Like. So we're in park, but I do have to say that that's not intuitively located when the P is covered by the steering wheel. And you just press that little button there.
But it is you learn it once and you're good to go.
True. So for me, the biggest thing is I put my trike in the back of my car. So we kind of wanted to figure out if this would have space for the trike. We tried this already. It's kind of crazy. Oh, that's so undramatic. It was so dramatic when you did it. Huh?
Didn't work.
Oh, that was kind of dramatic, right? Okay, I hope that that's okay for the seats. But anyways, so Patrick did measurements and we have like a couple inches to spare. I don't know about the height though, so I'll show you a photo of what it looks like when we have the car packed, and it's pretty packed. I mean, I don't know. So I'm kind of skeptical. So I've officially been camping twice in my life. Once was with a seasoned camper. I had a whole bunch of other stuff. And the other time was when I just took my duvet and my pillows and stuck it in the back of my car. So I've done this before, and I'm really curious. Could I sleep back here? As I try not to ding the car with my leg. And then I hit my head.
Oh, no.
Actually, that's pretty nice. And it is a good view. That's pretty comfortable. Makes me think I should get a hard mattress. Not bad. All right. You just pull it. Oh my God. Why do we go to gym? We'll just do this instead. Okay, race. That's it. Wow. That's notable. Is this how you get this down? That's very high up. Ooh. That's nice. So Patrick actually pointed this out, and he'd been researching and found a whole bunch of stuff on YouTube about Teslas not being perfectly engineered. So like you can see that right here, how this is misaligned. It's totally just off. And I know it doesn't look like much, but the big concern is if this is off, then what else is? You know what I mean? Like if they couldn't get this aesthetic correct, then what in the really important functioning of this vehicle could be wrong? I don't know.
So now we're going to swap and let Liv give it a try.
We're in a parking lot, which is about appropriate for me.
All right, let's give it a go.
Yeah. Okay. Woo, this is very up close.
I have short legs.
So I'm really, really nervous. A couple things. I drive crisscross, right? So I gotta tuck my leg back, my right leg back, which is the prosthetic side, and then cross my left leg over. So before doing anything, I like to make sure that I'm an okay distance between the brake and the pedal here. I gotta check that I've got good clearance here because I gotta be able to get to the brake easily. So I'm way too close here. Maybe a little more forward. And this is part of the hard thing, is that there has to be enough room in the wheel well so that I can get this foot back and out of the way and then still be able to do this. And I am like hitting the accelerator at an angle, and in order to get to the brake, that's quite a big jump. So I already don't like this car a lot. My current car, I feel like there's less of a jump, but hell, maybe that's me. This is why we're trying this out in a parking lot. I think that that's an okay distance, but I'm not sure. Let's do a little more. Right there. And because I have a drop foot, because of muscle damage, I also can't lift my foot up too far to get to the accelerator. So it's kind of a catch-22 here. I think that's okay. We're gonna go with this. Okay, my foot's on the brake and we tapped the card over there. So now I'm gonna boop it over to drive.
Put it down harder. Like,
Harder.
yeah,
Okay. Okay, I'm so nervous. Oh, wow. That is a tiny little portal. It doesn't even look like you're seeing outside.
Yeah, I won't be able to show it, but I'll see if I
Okay.
can.
Oh, good Lord. Oh.
It's still in sport mode. We can change it.
Oh,
if
that's
you
right.
want.
That's right. Yeah, let's do that. And actually, let me tilt the seat up a bit.
Put it back in park.
Okay.
Just tap. No, remember?
Nope.
We tap to end.
Oh, right. Thanks.
There you go.
That's a lot of buttons. Okay.
So we hit car.
And then driving. And
That's fine. Acceleration chill.
okay.
So you all the way down. There you go. Now it's in
Okay.
drive.
And it's weird. You feel the brake respond.
Yeah.
It like pushes up against your foot. Oh, that's much nicer. That's way nicer. Oh, interesting.
Did you feel the regen when you
Yeah.
were off? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go over these speed bumps. So I spend a lot of time holding my foot in the middle of the air in between the accelerator and the brake, because with a normal car, I can coast a little, and that lets me decide if I'm going to accelerate or brake, if I'm trying to respond to someone on the road or an impediment like a speed bump or something like that. So this is really weird that my normal way of driving, which is sort of hovering, like right now I'm hovering, I would have to learn a whole different way of driving. I mean, I do think that an electric car would be a benefit to someone with a crisscross or a need for an adaptive driving situation, but it's like, it's totally learning a different thing. The chill is noticeably more car-like though.
Cool.
See, that's where I normally start braking. Did you feel that? Or start lifting my foot off the accelerator. The steering wheel, isn't it small?
It feels very small.
It does. It's quite nice because, like, I guess I'm often a one-handed driver and it feels like you could do that really easily. Oh, see, that's where I normally pull my foot off the accelerator. Do you feel it as a passenger?
A little bit, but I think you can take the regen and turn it down a little bit. But that would affect your fuel mileage or range.
And it would really just be getting used to it, because like I also pull my foot off the accelerator when I need to brake out of safety, because I want to be closer to the brake. And if I have to like lift my whole leg up to do so, I do so in situations that might be dangerous not to. Like turning, like I just did there. That's weird. It's really weird. And I can't tell if this would turn really well like you were doing in the roundabouts. Because the steering wheel's so tight, like it feels like you could just like turn on a dime sort of thing.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty responsive. And I think in normal or sport handling mode. I don't know. I have to go look at it. Yeah, but it sees the cones.
Oh,
Yeah.
that did it.
Yeah, it alerted me with the cones.
Let's see what mode we're in. How do we see?
I had to put it in park.
Okay. Bink.
And
And
car. Driving.
chill,
Standard.
Standard.
Okay.
Out of curiosity, I'll try sport.
Okay. It's reverse down.
Oh, thanks. It is really weird with the mirrors responding to that.
Yeah.
It's very disconcerting.
The mirrors aim down so you can see the lanes if you're trying to reverse out of something.
I in no way like that rear view mirror. That's
Tiny.
just awful, yeah. Well, the rear view window. I don't notice any different between sport and standard, to be honest.
Low speed, you probably wouldn't. now that I
Oh,
think about it.
yeah. We'll try one more U-turn and then I'll give it back to you.
Okay.
You can have some fun. It is kind of cool to see what driving a new car is like, though. Like, I'd be probably chuffed in the same way, regardless of what car it was. I'd be like, "Ooh, shiny new," you know?
Yeah.
Wow, it engaged the steering going around a corner.
Yeah, I was
That's
curious.
weird. It almost seems like a game. Like, oh, there it is. Engage. Duh. Cool. Well, we're about to go turn in the Model Y. Patrick has done all of the street driving and I just drove in a parking lot. I definitely don't think I would be comfortable driving on the street for a while, especially with how much of a gap there was between the accelerator and the brake pedal. Yeah, there was definitely a gap there. So I'd be interested to see like what normal gaps are between those two. Do you know?
No, we can measure and see.
Yeah. And I'll check what it is on my car too. But that was definitely considerable. It's certainly a comfortable car, but I think that all of the electric vehicle features that are available might provide some incredible assistance to many handicapped individuals. I don't know. It is also kind of ugly, to be totally honest. It's ugly, and if you're spending that much money, wouldn't you want something sweet looking? So I'm excited. Like I said before, we're on the wait list for getting a Mustang Mach-E. We're getting a red one. The blue one looks really pretty, but I would not get something because of the aesthetics, but it's definitely kind of a bonus that it's so pretty. Wow, these people are tearing along here.
And that guy was just going really slow.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely a bonus that it's such a pretty car, the Mustang Mach-E, and this is not. Anyways, it's been fun though. Really fun to drive, and how this is so many steps up compared to my 98 RAV4, but you know what? I don't mind that one bit. Bye. That was really fun.
And call.
Please hold while I transfer your call to a representative.
Ooh.
Your call may be monitored or recorded for quality purposes.
Tesla Cherry Creek, this is Keaton.
Hi, this is Patrick Anderson. I'm just returning the Model Y that I test drove.
Okay, perfect. We'll be out there in just a second to get you checked out.
All right, thanks so much.
Thanks, Patrick. Yep, bye.
So that was fun. That was interesting. In part, it was fun and interesting because I haven't gone out that much. We've been social distancing pretty hardcore. But when we heard that you could do a contactless test drive, this seemed like a really cool opportunity. I personally really dislike salespeople pushing themselves on me and their product on me. I would rather make the decision myself. And when I do, I'm very, very loyal. So it was kind of a cool opportunity to be able to test drive this thing and not have anyone there with us. So we could talk amongst ourselves and be like, what do you think of that thing? That's stupid, you know? Which I wouldn't necessarily do if someone was sitting there. So that was a really cool experience. The whole contactless thing worked out pretty nicely too. It was really weird that this Tesla location was in a mall and it's like a ticketed paid parking mall. I don't know about you or where you're located and what your Tesla location is like, but kind of would have been nicer if it was something you could just drive up to and not have to worry like, which ticket do we have? Because we came in our car and then we left in the Tesla and then we couldn't get out because we had the ticket back in our car. And so by the time it came time for us to leave, we had 3 different tickets. I don't know. It just seems a little silly. But the whole contactless thing worked out pretty nicely. It's going to be a random little thing. The guy was really nice and he was really helpful. But random pet peeve, when people are in the service industry and they have a mask that does not fit, that is clearly not a mask that they've been wearing all day. Like this guy was wearing a buff that you pull up over your face and it was just slipping down all the time, and he kept like pulling it up and there was nostrils sticking out multiple times and he was pulling it up. It's like, oh, please don't do that. Like I brought a mask that I'm gonna wear until we are no longer near each other, and it fits me just fine and it has a nose thing, and it's just very disconcerting when someone's touching their face and contaminating and then they're coming very close to you. Other than that, it was pretty good. He got us into the car, told us about it, gave us some good instructions on it, and then Patrick started driving. I was too scared to drive straight away for a couple of reasons. Let me tell you about them. So when I rent a car, I hop into the car and like you saw in the video, I'll test it out crisscross and see if I can get my foot to the accelerator and the brake easily, if there are any impediments in the way. Some cars have a bit of a bulbous area in the footwell that can sort of get in the way of the extended height that I create by being crisscrossed. So I have gotten into a car before that was a rental and had to go back in and say, I can't drive this. Like, you need to switch it, because if there's any discomfort there or any issue, I'm not going to drive it. So I was not at all comfortable driving a $75,000 car, which is what I think it was, but I was not at all comfortable driving that straight away. So we drove to a really quiet area of town that was about 10 minutes away from where the testing location was. I hopped into the car in a parking lot, and before I even start driving, I have to test my crisscross. And you saw that in the video. I tested my crisscross, made sure that I could get between the accelerator and the brake. Most importantly, the brake, of course, but to see if I could do that unimpeded. And it's only once I feel like I can safely do that I will start driving. So this car actually had quite a bit of distance between the accelerator and the brake. And the moment we left the Tesla dealership, I started researching this. And apparently there's a lot of discussion about that. Like, some people find that being too close together, you're more prone to hit the brake when you mean to hit the accelerator, or press both of them, or things like that. So I really want to do some more research on this, because it seems like something that's been studied a lot, but there isn't a general consensus necessarily. Like, every car seems to do it differently. There does seem to be like a minimum and maximum distance of like 11 centimeters or 6 centimeters, something like that. The Tesla is kind of a lot, it seemed like to me. Considering the footwell is quite narrow and small, there was quite a lot of distance between the brake and the foot pad. And you can see in the video, when I was trying to move my foot between them, that I had to lift up quite a lot. In my case, because I am a bombing amputee, my left leg, which is my remaining real leg, is super damaged. So I have a drop foot. If you don't know, a drop foot is a nerve or musculature issue in which your foot cannot lift up by itself fully. I used to have to wear an enormous plastic brace in order to be able to walk or drive, and I've trained myself out of that. I'll do a video on that at some point. It is a little hard. It's a bit hard, but I've trained myself out of that, and it's taken me a long time to get to the point of feeling comfortable driving with that. But I know that I have a slight reduction in the amount that I can lift my foot between a brake and an accelerator. So if the brake is too high, which in the case of the Tesla, let's see if I can kind of picture that. This was the accelerator, this was the brake. So I had to significantly lift off the accelerator to get to the brake. And that gets exhausting. And because I have a drop foot, it's not something I can necessarily control as much, so I'm overusing muscles to try get my foot onto that brake. But it was manageable. The brake and the accelerator were very responsive, so I didn't have to worry about that too much. The problem that I noticed the most wasn't that I couldn't get to the brake or the accelerator, but that, let's do this again. By nature and training, when I'm driving, I will get myself to a good speed and then I pull my foot off the accelerator and hover when I know that I'm gonna have to brake, just out of habit. So there were multiple times, and I was just driving in a parking lot, mind you, that I lifted my foot off the accelerator so that I could hover on the brake to make a corner, and then the car would suddenly slow down because I'd stop giving it gas, because it's an electric car and I'm used to being able to coast. So that was really weird, and there were multiple occasions when I did that and it was too soon, basically. So I feel like I'd have to relearn a whole new way of driving that is only appropriate for a Tesla if I were to drive a Tesla. Granted, maybe it would be appropriate for another electric vehicle, but I'm not sure. I'd have to try another one, and actually that would be really interesting. So that was a huge problem. That was really a huge problem. The distance between the brake and accelerator and the fact that I couldn't hover. Additionally, as you saw in the video, there wasn't quite enough room necessarily for me to fit my recumbent trike in there. My recumbent trike, if you watch any of my previous videos, is my baby. It's amazing. I live in Colorado, so I pop it in the back of my car relatively often and then go for a bike ride. Granted, that's when it's not a pandemic, but you know, if I can't put this in the back of the Tesla, that's a big limitation. And the kind of person that I am is that I want my devices to have all functions as much as possible. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't want like a car for roughing it and a car for normal life. I would like a car that can do everything, personally. Not like I even rough it much. Like I said before, I drive a 98 Toyota RAV4. I'm okay with that. It has a tape deck. It has no bells and whistles, but it does have automatic windows and locks and stuff. And it seems so old that it might not, but that's okay by me. And there's something comforting about that too. When I get into a car with a prosthetic leg, if the person that parked next to me did not give me enough room, I can't open the door wide enough to not scratch the paint. This happens to me all the time, and I feel so bad about it in my husband Patrick's car for the most part. So if here's the car and I can only open the door here, then I'm scraping my leg all along the inside because a prosthetic leg is not necessarily that easy to bend. If there's lots of space between me and the next car, I can swing the door open wide and I can swing my leg in without having to scrape it up the side. And I don't do it on purpose. I try really hard not to, but unfortunately a couple times in Patrick's car is just no paint on the inner rim of the door. But in my car, my 98 RAV4, it's kind of comforting that this is an old wreck. I can scratch it. It's not a big deal. The idea of driving such a fancy brand new car as someone who has metal in their body kind of scares me. Like I ding stuff a lot. I break stuff and beyond that, can be careful with my leg, but what if someone parks too close to me and I can't get in the car without scratching it? Anyways, all of this began because we went to the LA Auto Show last year and we saw a Mustang Mach-E, the all-electric Mustang Mach-E. I even got to like announce it. It was really fun. Hello, we're here at the Los Angeles Auto Show with the all-electric Mustang Mach-E. It combines the performance of a sports car with the roominess of a four-door SUV. We're targeting 300 miles of driving range, plus access to North America's largest charging network. Ooh. And I'm going home with this today, right? Right? Thank you. I'm so happy. Nice. But if you put down a little deposit there, a refundable deposit, then you could go and sit in the car and hang out in it and test out how it felt, basically. So we did that, and those sneaky buggers, like that's what gets you, right? So now, many months later, we haven't refunded that deposit yet, so we're still on the list. Patrick has made a channel actually all about the Mustang Mach-E, and so we thought we would test drive the Tesla as a comparison. I'll tell you, the first thing that I did when I got into that Mach-E was I did my crisscross. I tested what it would feel like. I mean, it's really hard to know without being able to drive it, but I don't remember the distance standing out. You know what I mean? Like, I remember getting into it and like automatically that's the first thing I do is like test out if I can reach the brake and accelerator. And I don't remember it being as bad as the Tesla. I'm so interested. But they're not even out yet. I can't touch one. Ugh. Anyways, that's what started this whole thing. That's why we test drove the Tesla Model Y. I have never really wanted a Tesla. I do want an electric car, but I don't know. Being a crisscross driver seems like such a rare thing. I know a couple amputees, but all of them are left leg amputees. So if you're an amputee and you're a right leg, do you drive crisscross too? Do you drive with your prosthesis? Because I tried that one time when I was young and almost hit someone. It was not good. So I would love to know, like, how do you drive? Do you drive cross leg? Have you noticed the same issue with different cars, that some of them have different gaps? Seriously, I would really love to know. If you're not an amputee and you drive a Tesla, I would love to hear your thoughts on anything that I shared today. How do you like your car? Do you notice the distance between the brake and the accelerator, or is that just me? Anyways, if you found this video fun, interesting, helpful, informative, whatever, I hope you give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, you can give it a thumbs down. This is your chance to have your opinion heard. If you'd like to share your thoughts down below, that would be amazing. And as always, if you could stick around and subscribe, that would be fab too. Wherever you are, I hope you're having the best day that you possibly can. Be kind to the people around you, and thanks for hanging out.